So, hello friends, I'm Sumit Agarwal, Managing Director of DNS Accountants. In my previous blog or earlier blogs, in one of the blogs I spoke about VAT, what is VAT, how does it work, so basic one. Today I'm going to talk about shortly, not in detail, but what are the basic, some VAT tips you can apply. Firstly, I did cover that in the previous blog, whether you should register for VAT or not. Now, if you are turning over more than 85,000 in supply of goods and services, taxable goods and services, then you should register for VAT. You do not have choice. But if you are turning over less than 85,000, you have a choice to register for VAT or not. If your end customers are B2B and their VAT is not a cost for them because whatever VAT they pay, they can recover from government, then you should register for VAT because whatever VAT you are spending, you can claim back. The way VAT works, once you're registered for VAT, you are required to submit the quarterly VAT returns. So whatever VAT you charge from the customers and whatever VAT you pay to your suppliers or in expenses, you do the reconciliation. So let's say you charge £100 of VAT from your customers and you paid £50, you pay £50 net to government. But let's say if you're not registered for VAT, that £50 of VAT which you paid to your suppliers or expenses, you cannot recover. So it's basically depends on your customer. If you are turning less than 85 grand and if your customers are B2B, register for VAT and claim back input VAT. That will save you that money which you're paying, you can recover back. Whereas if your customers are private households, remember they don't submit VAT return. Whatever VAT you charge them, it becomes a cost to them, and you may become expensive when you're starting up, which you don't want. So it's a careful choice. Discuss with your accountant. It's a very important registration decision. It's a very critical decision in the startup business to make it success. So be careful. This is one of the very important ones. Another important one is flat rate VAT registration. When you register VAT, you can decide any of the scheme, which is flat rate scheme or margin scheme. But flat rate scheme is mainly designed for smaller businesses who want to pay VAT on a one flat rate. They don't want to be bothered about what input VAT they're spending. So to keep the account simple, you pay a reduced rate of VAT on the sales. When you're collecting at 20%, you may be paying the VAT at 10%, 12%, depending on the type of trade. So it may be beneficial for you. So remember, flat rate VAT can be beneficial. There are some complex rules around limited cost trader concept. Now this is a subject which we can talk in detail. Again, your accountant can explain. I will touch base in detail on mandatory registration, voluntary registration in my future blogs in detail, and VAT flat rate. Another important technique or the tip I would say, if you are dealing with second-hand goods, use margin scheme. That can help you manage the business efficiently in the VAT. Do not miss to claim the VAT on your mileage. If you're a small business, VAT registered business, and if you're spending money on petrol on your own car, make sure you claim mileage on input VAT. So when you're claiming mileage as self-employed in the business, you can claim back the VAT and the mileage element. If you are servicing two businesses, this is a little bit creative technique, but very legitimate, that if you're having two businesses from the same company or the same location, but if you can divide them legally well enough and you can ethically and legally divide and keep them distinctly separate, you can divide the turnover of 85,000 threshold. This can be useful if your customers are B2C. You don't want them to bear the burden of VAT, and in this way, if you divide the business in one business into two distinctly separate into two services, you can use the higher threshold, 85,000 into 2, which is 170,000. It can be divided into 3, but it can be very aggressive. So these are the few tips. Now, some of the tips I've spoken, they need to be elaborated in detail. Watch out for my future blogs. All I can say, VAT is a very crucial decision to make the business successful or failure. So make the right choice, choose the right accountant. I hope you enjoyed the blog. Please get in touch if you need any further assistance. Thank you for watching my video.